Nativity has such an interesting mission with the travel abroad program, and I had taken kids to China where we ended up dining with diplomats. So as I'm sitting there with these 13-year-olds, I'm saying to them, you know, okay, this is where we put our hands. We don't put our elbows on the table, as I'm sitting with elbows on the table. But they, you know, we're talking things like this, and as I'm talking, like, man, we really should do something before these kids go. And it, you know, it's such a lost art to begin with, and as I've worked with the program before, I know that that art is alive and well in the elders generation. So it just seemed to piece together wonderfully what we needed and what the elders could offer. They did a small presentation, but it was highly interactive for the 13-year-olds, which is incredibly necessary. So first it was kind of like a basic layout of rules, and the kids had to listen, and they got their guides. But then they had to go to a table where the dinnerware was in a bag, and they had to set up the dinnerware according to a map that was in the guide. And then we kind of played some games with that and got used to the idea of how are you supposed to hold your knife? How are you supposed to hold your fork? And they did that in kind of teams, which ended up being really fun. So a few days later, we all got dressed up out of our school uniforms, and we headed to the retirement facility, and there we had a sit-down meal with the elders and the kids, and it turns out some of the elders got to practice their new skills, and it was really, really amazing. What was shared the most was how much easier it was than they thought it was going to be. Not the etiquette piece. The etiquette piece ended up being secondary, and the kids saw that right away. The first thing they said was, we thought this was going to be all about the etiquette, and it wasn't. And, you know, that was fun, but it ended up being so much more fun just to sit down and talk to the elders, which was like mission accomplished. We couldn't have had them script it better.
Did any of the tips stand out?
Yes, I remember that you shouldn't chew with your mouth open.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And that no elbows on the table. And that you should actually wait for a woman to sit down and pull out her chair for her.
Was there any surprises about what you learned? I mean, we went there to talk about, you know, like you said, where to put the fork and the knife, but it sounds like in your case, you really enjoyed the conversation just as much as anything else.
Yeah, that was surprising, you know, because some people have the stereotype that, you know, old people are dull and boring. And that they never used to be our age, but some of the conversation topics were like, when you were our age, what did you do? And even some modern, I mean, not modern, but what kind of movies did you watch recently, or do you watch?
You had shared that your perspective has changed. Would you say that your classmates' perspective changed?
Oh yeah. Because I mean, at first, people were saying, "Oh man, this is going to be boring. This is going to be a bust," and actually, it wasn't. Everybody had fun. I mean, I saw people laughing and stuff, and just it was all about coming out of your comfort zone and asking questions.